It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Jackson they can do what's the 5-10.
Hey, welcome back. You are watching Baseball 101, and as you can see, there's no one next to me, so it's just me. And yeah, this is what I'm typically doing, is more teaching. And since it's Baseball 101, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to actually teach for a couple weeks. So if you want to learn some things, I promise you, this is the same lessons I teach in my classes at school to all my athletes. It's things that I'm taking what the coaches have said over the last 6 weeks. And if you have not watched those, I would highly recommend going back and watching, because each of them had some unbelievable ideas, the way they do things, and the things that they emphasize. And it lines up with the same things I've been teaching. And most coaches hopefully will be teaching the same thing. So I have just kind of compiled it into kind of what really matters, which is, well, on your screen. And I thought that'd be a great title because, well, that's what I'm talking about. And I go with the common sense part. But I'm going to get through about half of it this week, and then the other half will be next week. But all of it goes back to kind of what really matters to be successful. And that's what you're going to see on the next slide here. We're going to, did it go? I don't know. Click things. Oh, there. We're making progress. It's a new system for me. But success, and all the coaches said it, and just to be clear, like when I say success, what it means, before I start talking about, hey, this is what you need to be successful, that means a lot of different things to different people. I always go back to what John Wooden said, and to me, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. I mean, there's his 10 national championships, 7 consecutive titles, 27 winning seasons. That's decent. And he never defined like success about winning. It was always about, well, it's on the screen there. Success is a peace of mind attained only through self-satisfaction and knowing you made the effort to do the best which you're capable of. And if he's saying that, and that's how he taught, and that's what he kind of modeled, that's to me the foundation. I mean, I tried to read books. I tried to read about coaches that have been very successful. And when I say, again, success, they got the most out of the talent they were given. So he created this pyramid of success, and his pyramid of success over the years changed. And I've read a lot about it, but he moved pieces around. I don't even know how many pieces are on here. I'm not probably going to count that high, 15, 20 different attributes of what it takes to be successful. I have a different version of that. And for each person, I think it's important to sit down. I do it with my class. Sit down and, hey, what do you really need to be successful? What do you feel like is the most important things? And hold on to those things. And it's no accident that the two cornerstones are the same as what I feel like. Enthusiasm, that's about having fun. So my pyramid, which we're going to look at now, is a little bit different. And it's just more on my experience, and the way I word things is going to be a little different than John Wooden. He was a language arts teacher, PE teacher. So there's a little difference. I just try to communicate the main ideas. He said it like he wrote poetry. Like he was obviously a lot smarter, although we do share a birthday. So I don't know what that means outside of it's a special day. Well, at least for me and him. But I'm going to get through about half of these blocks today and kind of talk about what it really means to, what's enthusiasm, why is it so important to be successful, how's decision-making play into getting to where you want to be. I promise you, if you can just hang with me, and I know listening to me talk sometimes puts you to sleep, and maybe it's a good thing, turn on at 10 o'clock, but this stuff is foundational for what you need to be successful, not just in athletics, but in life. Like these are lessons that I try to teach, whether it's my health students or my athletes. It's the same thing. It's creating the habits you need to live the life that you want to live. So we're going to jump in a little bit, get through about half of them. We'll see where we're going on time, and then we'll take a break and record the second half, which will be in 2 weeks. And then that following week, and I know you're marking your calendar currently, you're getting your phone out and be like, hey, I need to put this down there. We will have Matt and Nolan Cissell on and talk about their experience at Dumont West, recruiting, his future, playing for your dad. Matt, if you don't know, is the new head coach at Dumont West. So a lot of interesting conversations. Then after that, we have Nate Burtwell from the Arizona Diamondbacks talking about a lot of the professional things, what they look for. So we got a lot of good stuff coming on with guests. I just want to take a break and kind of recap the first 6 weeks that we've had on Baseball 101 and combine it with what I've been teaching over the years. So kind of get a synopsis or summary of all that together. So the first one, just jump in here to that first cornerstone of it is, and we talk about this all the time. You've heard me say it many, many times. This is a game. If you look up in the rule book of baseball, the first sentence is, this is a game. When you lose track of it being a game and it's no longer fun, you're done. You stop playing. And that's what, if you're not enjoying playing, and not just enjoying playing, but if you enjoy practicing, and I get sometimes you don't want to be a practice, but if you don't enjoy the game itself and playing it, then go do something else. Like, you only have so much time on this planet to waste it doing things you don't want to do or because your parents say you need to do. If you personally are not enjoying this, stop playing the sport. Whether it's baseball, football, basketball, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. If there's something you're not enjoying, and again, you're going to have those days you don't want to do something. I'm talking long term. If you never find any joy in it, and unfortunately you get to that point that you don't, then stop and move on. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with finding joy in playing golf or art or music or whatever you want to go do and enjoy. Pursue those things, but it's the joy that makes the game worth it. I know after the game, the snow cones, it's on the screen for you. Those are the things that after games, I remember the fun of running with Eric Goff to the concession stand. I was always in front of him, but he knows I was faster than him. It's nothing he doesn't know. He said it on the show. Check tape. But those are the memories that's the fun part. That's why Savannah Bananas are selling out stadiums, because they have fun playing the game. Like, if you were watching the World Series, these guys are having fun. Like, it's a game. Enjoy it. Embrace the fun part of it, because you only get to play it for so long. Even the best players, it's going to be over, and we'll get to that later on in one of the other blocks. But it's a short time. If you only played through middle school, then enjoy your time through middle school. If you played through high school or college, great. But don't lose sight of the fact that this is a game and it's supposed to be fun. And for you parents that are watching, it's a game. It's not life. If your son strikes out 4 times, he's still your son. Like, it's still fun. Like, let them be kids. Let them fail and love them. That shows more support and builds their self-esteem more than anything else you can do. Failure teaches more lessons than success in a lot of ways. And you need to be able to let your son, your daughter fail, because it's their ability to come to you after they fail and take risk and fail that you get to show them, I love you because of who you are, not because of what you did. And when that gets mixed up, that's a problem. You get to that performance-based love, not good on the old self-esteem, which I will talk about later on. So that's the fun. We're always going to start with fun. That's the cornerstone of it. And then we get into the next parts, and this is one that's going to take a little longer, but you got to be able to make good decisions. If you want to be successful, you have got to understand how to make a good decision. And unfortunately, I say to my students all the time, how many lessons have you got in your life on how to make decisions? Not many. Like, we put you in kindergarten all the way through, and really until you get to high school, in at least my class, we talk about it. Besides that, it's pretty much just trial and error. Like, hey, I touched the stove, it's hot, don't do that again. But there is things that if you understand how to make this is really important, and this is where the teacher part of me gets all excited going, stick with me, because this is really key to what I'm going to build off of. Like, all this goes together. There's an end goal of where I'm going with this. All your decisions, if you look on the screen, it says like situation, possible, options, outcomes, values, decide, evaluate. Like, we go through this all day, every day. From the moment you wake up in the morning, what clothes you have on, there's a reason you have on those clothes. There's a reason you do what you do. Like, every decision you make, from what you say to who you interact with, like, there's reasons why you're doing it. I don't know if we ever really stop and think about why we're doing it, and that's what I'm trying to get you to do. The more you understand what you value, the more you understand why you make decisions you make. I, in class, talk about it, and it never fails. It's been 25 years of doing it. If you think about the worst decision you've ever made, and unfortunately at this point in my class, they'd be yelling out their bad choices. I don't need to know their bad choices. But I know they all have one thing in common. Whether you're watching YouTube, people make bad decisions, or you're in life making bad decisions, the thing that's typically involved is other people. We all have a deep desire for acceptance and connection. That's how we're wired. We want to connect. We want that sense of belonging and acceptance. And that's why we do, 99% of what we do is because we want to fit in. And there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're playing sports right now just to fit in, not because you love the game, there's other ways to fit in. But start thinking about, when I ask my students, hey, write down the things you value most, the 3 most common answers are friends, family, and faith. And that always goes back to that's the acceptance piece. Like, either you're loved by God and there's love there and acceptance, your friends or your family. But that's why we make a lot of decisions we make, and trying to figure out what you value most. Because like you see on the bottom of the little thing over there, you're going to sacrifice everything else for what you value most. Whatever's at the top of your list, if you say I value your family more than anything else, okay, well, when you have to choose to obey your family or go hang out and do something your friends are trying to get you to do, if you really value your family, you're going to choose your family. And that's where a lot of people say they value things, but their decisions don't line up with it. Your decisions reveal your values. If you really want to know what you value, look at what you choose to do with your time. Look at what you choose to do with your money, because that reveals that's your priorities. That's what you value most, and trying to get you to the point where you're really thinking about this. And again, stick with me. I know this is teacher mode, but we're getting to why this is important. So next slide, we get into when you go to make a decision, whatever decision, if you can just pause just this long, and just, if you don't know, the last part of the teenage brain for you teenagers to develop is the prefrontal cortex, the old PFC. That's the part in charge of decision making. Number 1 killer of teenagers: accidents. Someone made a bad choice. So understanding, like, hey, the part of your brain that is making decisions right now is not the part that's using facts and logic. It's the emotional part. That's why when teenagers decide to make decisions, typically, hey, what do you want to do Friday night? The first question they ask is who's going to be there, because they need to know, is it going to be fun? Because it's all emotionally driven. And as you get older, you learn there's the prefrontal cortex kind of balances that out, and you go, hey, you know what? Jumping off this cliff would be fun. And if I was 18, I would do it. But at 28, you realize if I jump, I could get hurt, and there's consequences. So this is the part where, when you really want to make decisions, and again, important, think about this. Based on previous experience, is this a wise thing to do? Like getting mad, punching a wall, you break a hand. Well, the next time you get mad, hopefully from previous experience, like, don't do that. That was a bad move. I broke my hand. The wall did nothing to me. And now I have a broken hand and I'm still angry. Like, that's not going to work. Based on current circumstances, I try to really remind people often, what you're going through is seasonal. You're going to have good seasons of life and you're going to have bad seasons. Don't destroy a future good season because you're in a bad one and make choices to keep you in that bad season. Like, just because you have a family dynamic that's unhealthy or dysfunctional, or you're going through a tough time, and trust me, I'm going to talk about it here in a little bit. I grew up in that environment. I grew up with dysfunction. I know what that looks like. I know what it feels like. If I didn't have, and this is the part that I really want you to focus on, that next piece, based on future goals, like that future goal that I had of like what I want it to be, what I want to become, is what kept me from making bad decisions. But if you've never stopped and really thought about, when I ask, what do you value most? How many people say their future? Like, most people are willing to sacrifice their future for their friends. And then they regret doing that because they never accomplished the things they really want to accomplish. But it's tough to sacrifice for something that you don't know that you want. So taking enough time to step back and go, what do I want to be doing in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? And when you have those dreams, those goals, and I'm not talking about the little things, I'm talking about big goals, big dreams, like things you want to pursue because you only get one chance to pursue them. So go pursue them. And if you don't accomplish them, so be it. And we'll get to that in a second. But these goals, the thing with when you believe you want to do something. When I was 4 years old, I remember distinctly I want to be a professional athlete. I was watching Lou Brock retire from the Cardinals. If you don't know who Lou Brock is, that's very sad. And you should look him up because he's unbelievable. And the Cubs traded him for pretty much nothing, which is a whole nother conversation. Just makes, it was a horrible trade. But I remember watching that, and for some reason, I knew I wanted to play professional baseball. And that was something all my decisions and all the things that I pursued throughout life really came back to, is this going to move me towards my goal or is it moving away from my goal? And it sounds really, I mean, it's really simple. But if you know you want a healthy family, then are you making decisions today to become the man you need to become or woman you need to become so that you can have that family? Are you doing the things today to get you to the future you want? Or are you doing things today that are destroying your opportunities in the future? Because if you can just make decisions, think about if you're in middle school right now watching this as an athlete, when you get to high school, your GPA your first semester is either going to open up opportunities or close opportunities. But if you're not aware, hey, I want to go to college, I want to go play college sports, if you don't have that goal and you're just, well, whatever pops up, I'll do, you're limiting your opportunities. And to be able to know, I want to do this, and I'm not saying you know all the details, but you have a passion in you, and that passion, that desire you have is the direction you should be heading. And unfortunately, people get scared to talk about their goals and their dreams. Second grade, true story. I know kids that have had me in class, you've heard the story. My second grade teacher, didn't like her. Nice lady, but I didn't like her, and it was only because of this one situation. If you've done this, I'm sure everyone did when you're little, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up, sort of thing. And you're drawing princesses and policemen and astronauts and all this other stuff. And the teacher's walking around the room and she's looking at people's paper and be like, oh, that's great. You know, you can walk on the moon. And you can. So we had, Jimmy was in the corner. Nothing against Jimmy. I'm sure Jimmy's wonderful, but he used to lick the window and he would eat anything. He was that kid in class. We all had him. He was a special kid. We loved Jimmy, but clearly he spent more time with his tongue on the window than he did like doing work. She gets to Jimmy, and Jimmy had drawn, this true story. He drew, I remember this. That's how bad it was. He drew the White House-ish. I mean, he drew a house sort of thing, and he told the principal, the teacher, like, hey, what do you want to do, Jimmy? And Jimmy's like, I want to be the president. And I mean, the class laughed, and she was like, Jimmy, you know, you can do it, Jimmy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're trying not to judge, but Jimmy, come on. It should kind of let her know that the White House he drew was actually black. It was an all black house, and he wanted to be in the White House. That was Jimmy. So the teacher comes and she gets to me, and I have no ability to draw at all. Like I drew a circle once, the lines met, tremendous effort by me. I cannot draw. And that's okay. Not my desire. I appreciate people that can. I wish I could. I can't. If you need me to hit a curveball, great. But she gets to me, and I had tried to draw the birds on the bat, the cardinal. I want to be a cardinal like Lou Brock. And it apparently, if you've ever seen the birds on the bat, there's a bat and there's two birds on there. I can't draw, so it looked like basically a bat beating a bird. And she was concerned. For good reason, because it was red and it was not a good drawing. I grant you that the crayons did not do well for me. So bad, she picks it up and she looks at it and actually turns it over and was like, And I'm like, I want to be a baseball player. She's like, ooh. And I didn't know if she was oohing because the drawing was so bad or because of my dream or what it was, but I'd never forget. She's like, you know what, that's really tough to do. Not many people get to do that. Maybe we should draw something on the back. And I'm like, you just told Jimmy that he could be president, and I can't be a baseball player? But being a good student, I turned the paper over. And I don't regret a lot of things. I really don't. We're going to talk about regret in a minute. But this, I do, a little bit, just a smidge. Because I turned that paper over, and I drew a picture of a teacher. To this day, I don't know why, and I did not know I was dealing with magical paper. Because my life, legitimately, I got drafted, and then got hurt, and now I'm a teacher. I swear to you, if I don't flip the paper, we're not having this conversation. But that's it. That's people, when you say your dreams and your goals, there are going to be so many people, and typically the people closer to you are going to be the ones you can't do that and try to restrict. And I literally, all through high school, I tried to kind of hide my goals and dreams because it's embarrassing when you're like, hey, I want to be a professional athlete. And at the time, there was only, 5, 6 people that had ever been drafted from Francis Howell. And I'm like, oh, I'll get drafted. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that, but that was just what I want to do. That's what I was going to pursue. And it really comes down to what's on the next slide that really helped me. The quote that's on there, there's two great pains of life. And if you've heard me on here before, you've heard me say this: discipline and regret. The discipline that I'm referring to is doing what you don't want to do so that you can be what you want. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you want to be a lawyer, doctor, whatever you want to be, you have to do the things you don't want to do to become that person. No one wants to work. Like, it's painful. No one wants to go hit off a tee. It's not enjoyable. You put the ball on the tee, you knock it off, and you put it back. Like, I spent many hours learning how to switch hit just because, well, I wanted to, and it took time. But when you start combining these things, my goal was to play professional sports. So when I got to high school, I didn't want to party. I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to do those things. So on the weekend, when everyone else was out doing the thing, the partying thing and everything else, I felt left out. I felt rejected. I was all alone. And I would literally just hit a ball off a tee or that's discipline. I didn't enjoy doing it, but my goals and my dreams were worth pursuing. And I wasn't willing to sacrifice a party or a friendship for my dreams. And that's where a lot of people, if you want to achieve something great, you have to know what you're trying to achieve and then be willing to sacrifice for it. I valued my future more than I valued my friends. I valued it more than my girlfriend. I've seen people turn down scholarships because, well, my girlfriend's not going to that school. Which will lead to the second part, regret. Regret's the thing you can't get rid of. It's the thing that makes people bitter. It's the thing that makes people crazy youth parents. And if you're one of those parents watching, or you know one, send this to them. Cut this little snippet out for you. These are the people that yell like 8U is the end of the world because you're trying to live out your dreams through your kid. It's not fair to them. If it's not their dream, it's not their goal, they're not going to pursue it anyway. Just because you couldn't do it doesn't mean that you need to make your kids do it. And that's what, when you at the bottom says, woulda, coulda, shoulda people, these are the people that when you talk to them, oh, I could have been great. I should have been drafted. I would have been All-American if this would have. No, you're not. If you could have done it, you would have done it. You didn't do it, so that's your fault. Because if you had the ability and didn't do it, it's on you. Like, it's not your kid's fault that you didn't have the discipline enough to become the person you want to become. So stop trying to live it out through your kids. And that's where I saw so many of these youth tournaments and these parents going crazy. And I'm like, why is this so personal to them? And then I would remember that's a bitter human over there that is regretful that they didn't do the things they needed to do to achieve the things they want to achieve. So all of a sudden you have this dynamic of you have crazy parents yelling at kids, and then you have kids that don't enjoy playing the game. So I'll tell you a quick story to illustrate this one. And this is slow pitch softball. Nothing against slow pitch softball. I did not like playing. Like, you throw the ball in there, you hit the ball. The first time I played with some guys. Actually, it was Tony Perkins and some other. We're at Golden Triangle, for those that are old enough to remember Golden Triangle. The final score was like 54-52. I came up, hit a home run, and the next guy after me, Todd Jerling, hit the ball about 500 feet because he was a professional slow pitch softball player, which I didn't even know existed. But not only did he play, he was that good. So we played a little bit. My wife wanted to play, so we played co-ed slow pitch softball at Ozzy's on Sunday nights. This is very sad. The last game I played, we played this team, the pitcher, I call him Joe Softball. I don't know. He had the cut-off jean shorts on with the white pasty legs, the black socks, not athletic socks, like dress socks. Velcro shoes, the Payless ones, Pro Wings, I think they were. Collared shirt, big hat. You know the guy. About 5'6", little guy. He yelled the entire game at his bench, at his players, at us. Why are you such an angry little man? He was an angry little elf. So the first time I come up, I hit the ball, and this is not out of like bragging, this is just reality. 6 months earlier, I'm playing professional baseball. I am a professional baseball player. I'm now playing slow pitch softball. Hitting a slow pitch softball is not that difficult. I was just trying not to kill the girl at second base who had the glove on the wrong hand. Like, that was my goal. Hit the ball to the outfield, run around the base, and people are like, oh, yeah, that was great. And I was like, yeah, this is wonderful. So the third time I come up, the first two times I hit to right field, I'm hitting left-handed. The third time I come up, Joe Softball stops the game. Turns around and moves all the outfielders over to right field and starts yelling, scoot up, just like making a scene. Scoot everyone over. I was a switch hitter. I step across the plate. I'm now hitting right-handed. He pitches the ball. I hit the ball to left field. I didn't even hit it well, but there's no one in left field. His own team's laughing at him. I am laughing as I'm running. He called me things that just weren't true. I mean, he cussed me out from the time I left that box all the way. Which, courageous move. I'll give it to him, because at 5'6", 120 or whatever he was, at the time I was in good shape. I was like 6 foot, 235. I was a large human. I could have picked him up and just shook him. I didn't. I thought that'd be disrespectful and rude. But I did laugh. And the whole way around the bases, I just laughed, and he yelled, and I got off the field, and I'm like, I'm done doing this. That's the type of person that is trying to live out, look how great I could have been. Let me yell louder so people know I could have been great. No, you couldn't have, because you didn't have the mental ability. You didn't have the discipline to get it done. Otherwise, you would have. So stop trying to do it with your kids. It's actually a little hypocritical to think you couldn't do it, but now your kid can, and you're the one that gave him the DNA. Just saying, you're limiting his opportunities because you weren't good enough, and now you're thinking he could do more with what you were given. No, not fair to him. Stop it. Obviously, I get a little crabby about this one, but man, I can't stand I'm going to take it out on my kid. I'm not going to give him a snow cone after a game, which is just wrong. That should be against the law. Give the kid a snow cone, maybe some ice cream. But that got me all worked up over here. See, this is what happens when I start teaching. I get all fired up. But those two things, discipline and regret, they go hand in hand. And it's you're choosing to either be disciplined and become the person you want to become, and you're happy with it. And even if it doesn't turn out the way you want, you can live with the fact that you tried. My career ended. I did not end up being in the major leagues. And I literally have thought back about my career, and the last game I played, I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I was running out to the field. I had just been invited to the pre-draft camp at Busch Stadium. I was playing at SLU. The coach was like, hey, why don't you just sit down? You've done everything. There's scouts from every team's there. The Major League Scouting Bureau's there. I'm getting drafted. Supposed to be drafted in the 3rd round, and I am pumped. And the coach was like, hey, 5th inning, why don't you just sit down? You don't need to play. You've done everything you need to do. And I'm like, coach, I just want to play. I go out to the field, and the next play, I get my foot stuck on the fence. I jump. My foot doesn't. I don't know if you've had that happen. It hurts. But it literally disconnected and spun around. If you've seen any of the NFL injuries lately, it was that. My bone sticking out the side. Luckily, I didn't see it. I didn't even know how bad it was, honestly, until the left fielder's yelling for an ambulance. And what really keyed me, I got how bad it was when the shortstop got about halfway out and started gagging and throwing up. I'm like, oh, well, this isn't good. So do I regret going out onto that field? No. Because I never have to look back and go, I wonder what I could have done if I tried harder, if I would have worked harder, if I would have done more, I don't have that regret. And that gave me the freedom to allow my kids to either pursue sports or not. I can tell you this much. In all my years, I never told my son to go work out, to practice, to do anything. It was 100%. If he's going to do it, he's going to do it because he wants to, because if it's not the dream he has, he's not going to ever really stick with it, because it's not going to be fun. And when the fun's gone, you're going to quit. So if you have kids, if you're a parent, you're listening to this, you're like, maybe just ask your son. And we had this conversation with my son and daughter every year. Do you still want to play? Do you want to play basketball? Do you want to play football, soccer? Do you want to do this? Instead of just thinking, oh, they're good at it, they should do it. I know it's a crazy thought, but maybe ask. We sat down every year and had a conversation. Do you want to? And then how much? And we set boundaries to make sure that we were giving him the freedom to be a kid, or my daughter to be a kid. You don't have to do everything just because other people are doing it. Remember, let's go back to decision making. We do it because everyone else is doing it. We want to fit in. We don't want to feel left out. It's okay. Do what's best for you, but you have to know what's best for you, because you have to have that conversation. So, okay. I got through that one without really getting too loud. So we'll move on to the next one that's a little more straightforward. That's Michael Jordan. For those of you that are younger and say LeBron James is the greatest, you're wrong. It's not even close. Michael's the greatest. And he is absolutely known. Don't even ring. Kobe, I'll give you a top 5. But there's a whole list. We get into greats in different areas. I love Kobe. Not Michael, though. I will give, like, Kobe's mentality and his mindset is similar to any of the elite athletes, and it comes across. Jordan said, I've always believed that if you put in the work, the results will come. I don't do things half-heartedly, because if I do, then I can expect half-heart results. That's everything. When it comes to work, you just can't work at the things you want to work at. I enjoy taking BP. Well, that's all I'm going to do. Yeah, but you got to go get stronger. You got to get faster. You got to improve your arm strength. You got to do the things you don't want to do, and you have to work at them. It's just not, I want to do the things that are fun, because then you're going to be limited. Anything you do, from conditioning to lifting, you better do it with a work ethic that's different than everyone else, because if you do what everyone else does, then you're going to get what everyone else gets. How do you separate yourself if your work ethic is the same as everyone else in the room? And then if you really think about, oh, well, I work harder than everyone else. Yeah, but are you working as hard as you can? Because if we go back to success, doing the most that you can do, that's all that matters. It didn't matter if I was the fastest one in the sprint. Well, yeah, but you just ran against 2 linemen that are 300 pounds. Like, that's not very impressive. Have you, when you go to sleep at night, have you worked as hard as you can work? And that's the question only you can answer. But that's also the question that if you do that and you constantly are putting in work day after day after day, you never have to look back and go, I wonder if I could have worked harder. You don't have that regret. It's gone, because every opportunity you had to work, you did. You got the most out of it. And just because you're the hardest worker in this room, understand, and my son can attest to it, there's people elsewhere outside of St. Charles County, outside of Missouri, outside the U.S. Half the people that my son plays with the Diamondbacks are not from America, and they were working really hard where they were. Like, just because you're the hardest worker here, or when you look around, it's not about, are you working as hard as the people around you? Are you working as hard as you can work? And you're the only one. That's the standard. That's it. And it really comes down to, if you can do the next one, create the habits for work. The habits are so important. Once you create a habit, your body just expects you to do it. And the small habits, if you've never read Atomic Habit, The Power of Habit, if you've never read, open a book. It's good for you. There's bestseller of all time. It's called the Bible. A lot of these things are in there. Just read. It's good for you, I promise. But these small habits are what make the big difference. Anyone can be great for a day. Anyone can go lift for a day. Anyone can go work hard for a day. It's the people that do it consistently that are going to set themselves apart. Consistency is more important than intensity. People think, I went and lifted really hard today, and then tomorrow and the next day I'll take off. And no, I mean, this little analogy at the bottom, you throw a bucket of water on a rock, it does absolutely nothing. But if you let a drop of water fall onto a rock every day, it creates a hole. It's the constant adding every day. In Atomic Habits, they talk about get 1% better each day. If you can just 1% better every day when you go to bed, did I get better today at what I'm pursuing? If you did, great. If you didn't, well, then make the adjustment and do it different tomorrow. You have to be aware before you can change. Awareness precedes change. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But these habits that you can put in place, from getting up before school. I know the Nixa coach, Platte County, they talked about they get up and lift before school. That's what they do. That's just what's expected. When you can create habits, then the habits take care of everything else. You don't have to think about, man, I have to go work out. It's, no, when I get done with school, I work out. It's just what I do. Create the habits, and then just trust your habits will take you to your goals. Because if everything aligns and it's like, hey, that's where I want to go. Okay, what habits do I need to get there? Then you just create the habits and keep doing those habits until you get to the goal, or until you get to the point where you realize the goal is not attainable, and you can shut it down and walk away with a peace of mind knowing I did everything I could to try to achieve that. I don't have any regrets. Like, all these things go together, and all these pieces work if you work. Like, if you take the time to really think about what I'm saying, because I'm throwing a lot of things at you, I know. And this is not about high school sports. It's about you as a person, you as a parent, you as a husband, as a wife, whoever's listening, as a coach. There's no different. Like, these are life lessons that I've read through every book you can think of. I like to read. Call me crazy. I know a PE teacher that reads is a little kind of like oxymoronic, but I know the word oxymoronic, and some of you don't. So reading pays off. Anyway. But these blocks, these building blocks, one after another, if you can just enjoy it, pursue your passions, and be disciplined, make good decisions that align with your goals, and those goals, make sure you're disciplined so that you don't regret not pursuing them, and create the habits and the work to get there. All those things work together, and the more that you can actually start to apply these things, I mean, those that know my son, Titus, this is how he's lived his life. I taught him these things, and he took them in, and this is what he did. He would get up and lift at 4 a.m. and run sprints, and he would do, he had a goal, and he pursued it. This isn't just things I say, it's things that are proven to be effective. Let's put it that way. So I've given you plenty in 35 minutes to kind of digest, let you think about it a little bit. So for this week, this little first chunk of the pyramid, hopefully you got something, and share it with other people. If you know someone that's in middle school, you know a high school athlete, these are things that I teach them in class I promise you, some kids really hold on to them, and it helps them tremendously. If you know kids that can benefit from just thinking about these things, you got to think and become aware before you can do anything about it. And sometimes they just need to listen for half an hour and get a thought in there, and that thought, everything that's ever been done that's tremendous, great, all started with one single thought. It's that one thought, you don't know where it's going to go, but if you can take that thought and build and grow it, you can achieve some unbelievable things. You're the only one that knows what you're capable of. Some of you spend more time convincing people that you can't do something than just embracing the fact that you have gifts and abilities that you want to pursue that you need to go and do. And it might not be with athletics, it might be with academics, it might be whatever it is. Those passions are within us for a reason. Listen to them. Go with them. So make sure at the bottom, hit that subscribe button, because otherwise you're going to forget that next week I'm going through the second half of the pyramid. And like it and share it with people. This is, if someone doesn't want to read, look, I read the book, so I'm giving you the information. It's kind of like the modern day book report. I'm doing 20 book reports on one for you. You are welcome. In return, push the like button. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you learned something. Next week, we're going to go through the second part of it. And then in 2 weeks, we have Matt and Nolan Sissom on here. And we'll just keep moving forward. You guys have a great day.